Welcome to the week that was in wrestling. I'm your host, BC Hunter, and now let's get to the news. Hot start to Raw this week with a Rollins-Riddle brawl and Trish Stratus. And hey, I get why the younger crew doesn't like when old-timers come back and take some time away from them on TV. You hate to have a 46-year-old soccer mom make the rest of your female roster look like it's a knockoff from Wish. A fired-up Dolph Ziggler in both the ring and on the microphone? Yes, please. Look out, Amy Schumer. He might be coming back for round 2 of the Sexual Olympics. By the way, I'm not sure what this says for Finn Balor, but I'm more excited about Dolph versus Rhea than I was for Finn versus Dolph. Finally, there was a little homage to Bret Hart in that match as Dolph took a vicious run into the turnbuckle face first. He continued that homage backstage by saying he'd never forgive Goldberg for anything. Chad Gable ripping into the Toronto Maple Leafs? You, sir, just became my favorite wrestler. It was a fantastic match between Gable and KO. Needless to say, KO is probably the happiest guy on the roster that Triple H is now in charge. Rumor has it backstage he's even signing his complaints with "Pretty Please, Sugar on top." The Miz was kidnapped by Dexter Lumis on the show, apparently to make more room for NXT call-ups. Speaking of which, Johnny Gargano returned on Raw. Damn you, Dexter Lumis. I kid. I'm pretty excited about WWE's new minis division. Another Conan sighting on Raw? I'm telling you, Max Moon return? Imminent. Triple H is so high up on the popularity poll, rumor has it for his next act, he's going to cancel the remainder of the student loan debt that Biden missed. Now on to NXT. Grayson Waller is so good, he needs to be called up to either Raw or SmackDown. I can't believe that we forgot about him when we listed out the last of the true heels on our latest audio podcast, found on all your favorite podcasting apps. Make sure after you watch this video, go check it out. A triple threat for the Women's Championship at Worlds Collide? I smell lazy booking and a cheap way to get that title off of Mandy Rose so she can head on up to the main roster. Wow, Cora Jade with references to nerds complaining on Twitter, inflatable dolls for girlfriends? Is she trying to start a feud with Kenny Omega? Boy, worlds really are colliding. This is Tiffany Stratton. This is Wendy Chu. Who do you think that the WWE is pushing right now? You got it. Wendy Chu came out victorious in her lights out match that involved Lego and a choke slam through a bed. Nothing like pushing a less entertaining version of Orange Cassidy on the audience. Now on to the NWA. I gotta say, when the NWA does things good, they do them pretty good. When they do them bad, they do them kind of bad. And on this episode of Power, there was a lot of bad. But on a bright note, it's nice to see that Marco Stunt is finally getting some work again after his release from AEW. I haven't had the opportunity to check out all 6 to 7 hours of NWA 74 because, well, I've got a life. But I will get around to it at some point, and I'll let you know how it goes. Over to All Elite Wrestling's Wednesday Dynamite. Great match between Dax Harwood and Jay Lethal and Bryce Remsburg. Bryce did the majority of the selling. Not to be outdone, everybody's favorite Aubrey. Lean back into that picture, Aubrey. In some sad news, Thunder Rosa has lost her smile. Unfortunately, her match with Toni Storm had to be changed to a 4-way, not involving her, at All Out. Interesting. I wonder why Thunder Rosa only got 45 seconds backstage to make this announcement, while somebody else got 10 minutes in the ring. I wonder what the reason was for that. Just a quick update. You want to see what a star looks like? It's this guy right here. Ricky Starks with another home run of a promo. The trios match. Everything I hate about AEW rolled up into one nice little package. You had a million super kicks that were not sold, a million finishers that were not sold. You had no adherence to psychology, a buffoon of a referee who allowed them to get away with everything under the sun. Then you had the toughest guy in the match get taken out by a 175-pound jobber who's been wearing a box on his head for the last year. And to finish it all off, the Young Bucks. Yeah, but by the way, the AEW fans loved it. And the moment I'm sure you've all been waiting for, my critique of the Moxley Punk unification match, which lasted all of 3 minutes and 40 seconds of ring time, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Not him. Him. You reap what you sow, buddy. You reap what you sow. And by the way, it even looked like that ending was botched. It was supposed to be 2 Death Rider DDTs, but it looked more like 2 double underhook suplexes that finished him off. But, in true Punk fashion, he still managed to eat up most of the camera time instead of Moxley with this faraway look at the ring. Over to Impact. Probably my favorite thing of the entire week is hearing David Penzer announce Mia Yim as the HBIC. I wonder if he even knows what he's saying. Nice to see Scott Armstrong get some airtime on Impact again. If you've finally finished listening to all of our audio podcasts about 2 or 3 times over and watched all of our YouTube videos maybe 10, 11 times, make sure you head on over to the Armstrong Avenue podcast where you can hear Scott's opinions and old stories on wrestling and support our good friend and friend of the show, Big Mike the host. It is a great podcast. I highly encourage you to try it. And finally, Joe Doring in that main event. I'm not sure what was going on, but he was moving like Jake the Snake Roberts at a Heroes of Wrestling indie show. I know that's a deep cut, but it's worth checking into. Trust me. Finally, over to SmackDown. Whew. I love Baron Corbin just as much as anybody, probably more, but for him to have a 12-minute match with the man that charisma forgot, Ricochet, that's a little bit much. Now, I spoke of superstars earlier. You want to talk about superstars? How about those vignettes with Drew McIntyre? My God, did they ever build him up for this event? I mean, I went from a month ago being kind of so-so with Drew McIntyre even being involved in another match with Roman Reigns to I have to see him take the title off of him. I think they're going to burn the castle down if they don't get that done. Fun little segment between Gunther and Sheamus, which involved Ludwig and Butch as well. Kind of looked like a Little Rascals episode, but I'll tell you one thing. The IC title feels very important right now, and I'm looking forward to this match. The over-under on the amount of skin that's going to be left in the ring afterwards is around 50. I cannot heap enough praise on Sammy the last few weeks on SmackDown. He's been fantastic. Hell, he even almost broke Roman and Jey Uso during those segments backstage. I mean, he's so good, I'm starting to believe he actually is Samoan. And how about that beatdown at the end of the match? Wow, unbelievable. Are you not sports entertained? Look at that back. Jesus. How does anyone in their right mind turn from SmackDown and decide to go over to Rampage and look at this stuff? As the genius himself, the master of all one-liners, Bobby Heenan used to say, it's like comparing horse manure to ice cream. Well, that's been the week that was in wrestling for this week. Once you're done watching this video, why don't you head on over to any of your favorite podcasting platforms to check out our latest episode where we discuss heels in wrestling and we wonder what happened to all the heels in wrestling. And once you're done that, why don't you go check out this video that YouTube is suggesting, because they're saying that you're going to enjoy that just as much as this one. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.